I sat there thinking this is a gynecological oncologist. Much more training and education than most doctors I see. I knew it felt uncomfortable, but I should trust him.
Ellen Cater, Gabby Vasquez, and Julie Orsatti all say they went to see Dr. James Heaps because they were told he was the very best.
You were going to him how frequently?
Every 4 months, every 3 months. He kept giving me diagnoses that scared me. I never walked out of that office without crying.
I was also told I could get cancer and die, and since seeing another gynecologist, I've learned I'm not at high risk. He put fear in me to guarantee that I would keep coming back every few months.
Can you describe what he did? I know it's difficult to talk about the details.
He had his hands all over my body.
Using his entire hand, the palm of his hand, all over, lingering for too long, and looking and telling me that my breasts were beautiful.
Vasquez, a medical assistant at UCLA Health, says she expressed concern to Dr. Heaps during her exam when he directed the chaperone to leave.
And he was introducing the ultrasound as if he was simulating as he was having sexual intercourse with me. And I said, this is not okay. This is not right. I immediately went to my supervisor and I reported this to her, and nothing was done.
Vasquez says she told her supervisor in January of 2017, but it wasn't until another patient's complaint in December of that year that UCLA began an internal investigation. And these were not the first complaints against Heaps.
We are now aware that at least as of 2014, there were allegations of sexual misconduct with patients by Dr. Heaps. There was not further action taken with regard to that.
UCLA Health says it is looking into the handling of one 2014 complaint they acknowledge receiving, and was unaware of yet another allegation posted on Yelp a year later until its investigation was underway. However, Heaps continued practicing at UCLA Health until June of 2018. Ellen Cater says she saw the doctor just 2 days before his office closed.
I was allowed to walk into the room after sitting in a waiting room full of other women waiting to see him. I walked in, got undressed. He sexually assaulted me again.
A week later, she, along with Heaps' other patients, received a letter announcing his retirement with, quote, mixed emotions.
UCLA, I deeply believe, absolutely knew at that point.
The results of the internal investigation completed by the UCLA Title IX office and released in November found there is sufficient evidence that Dr. Heaps engaged in behavior that constituted sexual assault when he examined the 2017 complainant. Also in the report, some of Heaps' staffers defending him. A medical assistant present during the exam in question stated she has never witnessed nor heard of anything inappropriate during exams. Now, in the aftermath of the investigation, UCLA tells NBC News Dr. Heaps did retire while he was under investigation, and it regrets the way his departure was characterized. Heaps' attorney tells NBC News in part Dr. Heaps has no doubt of his innocence, as do hundreds, if not thousands, of his former patients, and that Dr. Heaps never did a transvaginal ultrasound for any purpose other than medical, only touched patients during examinations for medical purposes, and never made comments or asked questions for non-medical purpose, adding that he would never ask patients to come in for appointments more than necessary or overstate anyone's risk of cancer.
I have flashbacks to this day.
As one of the highest paid employees at the University of California, at one point making over $1 million a year, his accusers are demanding to know what took so long for UCLA Health to publicly acknowledge their accusations.
UCLA needs to be held accountable for putting him first before us.
Heaps was charged with sexual battery and surrendered to law enforcement in June 2019 and is out on bail. These women are not part of the criminal case, but have filed civil lawsuits against Dr. Heaps and the regents of the University of California. They join about 100 women with similar allegations, including 8 UCLA students, 5 of whom say they endured sexual abuse by Dr. Heaps when he treated them at the school's health center, where he saw patients between 1983 and 2010.
It's felt very lonely because you don't have anybody to turn to who has a similar story. And yet we do, we just don't know each other.
Well, Dr. Heaps has pleaded not guilty and his medical license was suspended. UCLA has already settled some cases involving allegations against Dr. Heaps for nearly $4 million. In a statement, it says an independent review is examining what occurred and whether our policies and procedures are consistent with best practices, and that as an institution, we recognize that we must do more to provide the safe, supportive, and respectful environment our patients and staff expect and deserve.